The first paramita, crossing over to the other shore, is the practice of giving. The second, the practice of diligence. And the third is the practice of mindfulness trainings. Many of us, not to say all of us here, are committed to the practice of mindfulness trainings. The 5 mindfulness trainings are considered to be very concrete practices for our protection and the protection of our beloved ones, also of our city, of our nation. The other day, Sister Chen Kong suggested that we send to President Clinton a book on the 5 mindfulness trainings and ask him how to implement the practice on an international, on a national level. Because the substance of the 5 mindfulness trainings can be found in every spiritual traditions. But the presentation of the 5 mindfulness trainings we offer to you is a very, very clear, very concrete. And it is our conviction that if the nation live by the 5 mindfulness trainings, there will be a deep transformation. There will be much less suffering and much more harmony and happiness. The 5 mindfulness trainings can be presented as a non-sectarian, non-religious practice. And I don't think that any spiritual tradition would see anything wrong within the 5 mindfulness trainings. And each tradition may offer a version of the 5 mindfulness training, but the essence will be the same, of course. Very concrete, very effective. And to live according to the 5 mindfulness trainings, to have the training going on every day, we get the best kind of protection. And we can arrive at deep transformation of our individual life and also our society. So this is also a kind of gift. When you practice the 5 mindfulness trainings, you offer the best gift of your life to your beloved ones. Because you manifest the solidity and joy and compassion and equanimity. And that is the best kind of gift you can giving, diligence, mindfulness trainings. And we know that we need a sangha in order for the practice of the 5 mindfulness training to be easy. It is much easier to practice in the sangha setting. We may like to have a discussion within our family to help people see that the 5 mindfulness trainings are exactly what we need for our own protection and growth. And if we live accordingly, we will avoid making each other unhappy. The practice of deep listening and using loving speech, for instance, alone can transform the atmosphere of the family right away. And if the family practices well, it will influence the society. And again, children are capable of the practice. The fourth practice of crossing over to the other shore is the practice of inclusiveness. We have learned quite a bit about this. We want to exclude no one. We know that we train ourselves in the art of embracing, and then our heart will grow larger and larger every day and be able to embrace people and the difficulties. Remember the example on earth and water. The earth is great. That is why the earth can receive, embrace, and transform whatever we pour on it. The water is great because the water is capable of receiving, embracing, and purifying. Please remember the image of a handful of salt poured into a bowl. Because the quantity of water in the bowl is small, that is why the salt makes it impossible for people to drink the water. But if we pour that amount of salt in a river, and then the river can absorb it and transform it, and we can continue to drink from the river, because the river is large. If we have understanding and compassion, and then we don't have to suffer of these things. Even if they say such a mean thing, if they do such an action that is not nice, we still don't suffer because our heart is big. Because we have understanding and compassion, that is why we can embrace, and we don't have to suffer. We don't want to exclude anyone. And we can go very, very far because our heart is large. And that is the practice of inclusiveness. There are other kind of ways of translating, like endurance or forbearance. But if we look deeply into the nature of the teaching, we see that inclusiveness is a better term. Kṣānti Paramita. The fifth is meditation, the practice of meditation, namely mindfulness and concentration. We know that in a difficult situation, in an irritating situation, in a controversial situation, our going back to our mindful breathing and smiling can produce a miracle. If you can go back to yourself and be fully present and restore your solidity, your freedom with your mindfulness, and then you can overcome that irritation very easily. You can practice embracing more easily. You can produce your smile very easily. Suppose two young men about to fight each other. And if one young man is capable of breathing in and remember that if the fighting starts, both of them may go to the hospital. And that insight comes, and he will tell, do you really want the fight? We might end up in the hospital. And that will help the other person to wake up. And instead of fighting each other, they may sit down and talk to each other. So it needs only 1, 2, or 3 seconds in order to make the difference. A flash of awareness, one in-breath is needed in order to have the transformation. And if in our daily life we train ourselves in the art of mindful breathing, we will be able to do this miracle, to perform these miracles. We can intervene and stop a strategy, a tragedy. We will not create the tragedy, but we can even intervene in order to stop a tragedy that is about to take place. We become a bodhisattva capable of reconciling and restoring peace. Meditation, the practice of mindfulness, help us to be fully present there and to touch the beauties, the beauty of life, the wonders of life, the elements that are refreshing, healing. And if we know how to appreciate these positive things, we will be able to release the negative very easily. It would be a waste if we don't know how to profit from these refreshing and healing elements available. It would be a pity if we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by that kind of feeling of anger and sorrow and discrimination. So meditation is a practice that can help us cross over to the other shore, the shore of well-being. And you don't need 10 years of sitting meditation to be able to do that. Because the practice of mindful walking, the practice of mindful breathing can already provoke a miracle, produce a miracle. And you can just cross over to the other shore like that in just a few seconds. The power of awakening. You can produce awakening at every moment. Looking at the blue sky, you take one deep breath and you are able to touch the immensity, the solidity, the freedom represented by the blue sky. And that is for our nourishment. And it does not need a lot of practice. Mindful movements. chân chưa căng. Giỏi quá. I like to present the 6 Paramitas as a flower with the 6 petals. And in the middle, you can write the word mindfulness. The mind in the present moment. Have the giving, diligence, mindfulness training, inclusiveness, meditation, and insight. And the substance of every practice may be called mindfulness. And this is something that we can practice in our daily life. Insight, prajñā, is said to be the mother of all the Buddhas. Prajñā paramita, the insight that helps you to cross to the other shore, has produced so many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And you are also children of her. It is by insight that you are born into the Dharma, and you grow up in as a practitioner. And insight can help us to go to the other shore very quickly. When you touch the seed of insight within you, you see what to do and what not to do. And suddenly you find yourself on the other shore, the shore of well-being, of non-fear, of loving kindness. One of the examples, hugging meditation, when you are about to have a dispute When you get angry at your beloved one, you need the insight of impermanence, of interbeing. Any insight would help. Impermanence, interbeing. Getting angry at each other in the historical dimension, I close my eyes and I look deeply. In 300 years, where will you be, my beloved one? In 300 years, where I will be myself. So that is to touch the seed of impermanence in our store of consciousness. And if you do well, breathing in and breathing out, and visualize you and your beloved one 300 years from now, then you open your eyes. You are a different person. Your anger vanishes, and you find that the only meaningful thing to do is to hug her with the awareness that she is still alive and you are also alive. You touch the miracle of life. And that is because we have been able to touch the seed of insight that is already in us. You don't need a teacher to give you the insight. You have the seed of insight within yourself. The teacher is a friend who can help you identify the seed of insight within you, because you are a Buddha to be. If you know how to touch the insight within you, the Buddha in you will continue to manifest. Any insight would be able to help you to the other shore. And that is why it is said that prajñā, paramita, is the mother of all the Buddhas.